Hi, I'm Yaakov Langer, and today we're in the world-famous Kosher.com kitchen. We are here with Rabbi Moshe Perlmutter from OU Kosher. What will we be discussing today?
So today we're going to show how to kasher your sinks and your countertops for Pesach.
Let's get into it. So here we are by the sink. Can all sinks be kasher?
No, it depends on what material it's made of. This particular sink is made of porcelain, so porcelain, china cannot be kashered.
So does that mean I need to throw out my sink?
No, we have a solution for a sink that cannot be kashered. You can purchase a grate that has feet that elevates off the surface of the bottom of the sink that you place your basin in. The basin will sit right on top of that, and then you can wash your dishes right in the basin.
So what sinks can be kasher?
Well, the most common is stainless steel. That can easily be kashered.
So how would I kasher a stainless steel sink?
Okay. So stainless steel sink would be kashered with irui. But prerequisite for any kashering is the surface of the sink has to be totally clean and it has to be an einu ben yoima, which means it's sat unused contact of anything hot for the past 24 hours. Now for irui, once the 24 hours is over, you have to make sure the surface is perfectly dry. Then I just want to point out that in the sink you have this strainer. The strainer cannot be kashered because it has a rolled edge that food could get stuck in, and also the smaller holes would be a problem. But you could always buy a brand new one at a local hardware store for around $5, and then just put this one aside till after Pesach.
That's a great life hack.
Now, we have to pour boiling water, so we're going to be concerned with safety and wear gloves and make sure we don't burn ourselves if we spill any of the boiling water. Now, 2 points for irui. I already mentioned that the surface has to be totally dry, otherwise that will cool off the mei irui. And also, if you just saw, the water has to, once the water's boiling, you're going to pour it on, and while you're pouring it, it has to be lo nifsach hakiluach, which means there has to be a complete stream from the kettle to the surface that you're pouring on at all times. It can't be disconnected. So this is how you would do it. And because we said it has to be dry, I'm going to pour on the bottom first and then work my way up. So you're going to start in a corner and go back and forth very methodically so you make sure you don't miss anything. The kiluach, the pouring of the water, should hit every last surface. You're up to the sides, you start on the bottom and you go back and forth. And you're going to need to refill the kettle to continue and do the other sides just like I did this one.
So what do I do if I don't have an electric kettle?
So if you don't have an electric kettle, you could use a regular pot, make sure the water's boiling, and you can take this with the handle and pour it over the same way you did with the kettle. I prefer the kettle because this is a little heavier and it's easier to burn yourself with such a pot. That's why I prefer the kettle.
So how do we kasher our counters?
So just like the sink, it has to be from a kasherable material like stainless steel or anything made from stone. So granite is stone, and this counter, which is quartz, is made from pieces of stone. So again, just like by the sink, it has to be totally clean and it has to be an einu ben yoima. It has to be not used with anything hot for 24 hours. And also like the sink, all irui, the surface needs to be dry. So you have to make sure it's perfectly dry before you do the irui. Also, make sure the kettle's boiling. Also, you need to make sure that lo nifsach hakiluach, that when you're pouring on the counter, that the stream is always connected between the kettle and the counter. Now, one thing that's different from the sink is you're going to make a big mess. Water's going to get all over the floor and all over the cabinets.
I sense a life hack coming.
Okay, so it doesn't totally eliminate it, but I have a hack that will minimize. So you can take some silver foil.
You're a pro because you're doing this with your rubber gloves, so I can see that.
You open up the drawers, the silverware drawers, close it in, and what you're going to do is form like a trough or like a gutter to catch most of the water.
Oh, that's so cool.
And this way, most of the water hopefully will end up here and not all over, but there will be still water. Also, You can use a squeegee, you'll see when I pour, and this way you could quickly move the water into the sink and it will minimize, again, how much will go. So again, just make sure it's boiling again. Okay, you can see the bubbles. And now, again, you have to very methodically. I'm going to start on one side. I'll do one section at a time and go back and forth. And every spot has to come in contact with the flow of the water. And when you finish the sink, don't forget that you also have to do the faucet. Same thing, Erie, pouring it over every part. And then I can take my squeegee and get most of it into the sink. And I move on section by section, and then at the end, you would very carefully remove this and pour the water into the sink.
Then you have a mini marble. So what about formica?
So formica is very common found counter. It can be kashered for those that kasher plastic.
Is there anything else that we need to know about kashering?
So there is brought down in halacha, there is a minhag that even after you kasher, you should cover the surfaces.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. Now you know how to kosher your kitchen sinks and counters. So go ahead and start pouring that hot water.